Guys, what is the crack? Did you ever read Tony Robbins' world famous book, Money Master the Game? It's a massive book and it's an absolute game changer to teach about finance. Let me talk to you a little bit about the book, because as good as the book was, it did miss one key thing, which is pretty essential. So I'm going to give you the take on Money Master the Game and how you can build upon it so you can actually master the game. So guys, hi, welcome to the channel if you're just new or jumping on. My name is Dinny, and we teach people how to retire early by building digital asset portfolios. Why? Because they're the highest performing portfolio over the last 13 years. Nothing in the legacy market has kept up with them. And yes, many people are skeptical and they don't understand it because it's digital, and that's fine. That's where I come in. That's where our company comes in, through education and guidance. I will warn you to just be careful of scammers in the comments. They always impersonate me. They will ask you to inbox them, so just ignore that stuff. And to become part of the community here, all that we ask is that you do what's called your daily exercise, which just means hitting the like button or subscribing to the channel. Become part of the community. If you're new, make sure you drop in a comment and say hello, tell me where you're listening from. That would be awesome, because we have a thriving community across all our social medias, our Facebook, our YouTube, our Twitter and our Instagram. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Tony Robbins' book. And if anyone has ever heard of the book, drop it in the comments. Money Master the Game. Or if there's any Tony Robbins fans, if you've done any other of Tony's courses or work, drop in the comments if you're familiar with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins he had a great documentary type thing on Netflix. It was called I Am Not Your Guru. But for all intents and purposes, Tony Robbins is like a sort of guru. He's like a business guru, a spiritual guru, a personal development guru, but just someone who taught me to up level and get more out of myself, and helped me realize that it was all my own thoughts of everything that was going on in my head, which is what was causing my life to be unhappy, and I didn't like my life at the time, and I wanted to be wealthier and healthier and whatever else I wanted. But it was all a reflection of what was happening in between my ears, as opposed to the external events, as we all we think, unless we've had any personal development training. But Tony, anyway, because he was someone who I had really respected and had helped me with a lot of other aspects in my life, when he brought out the book Money Master the Game about finances, of course I was all over it. And I ordered the book straight away, and then I got the book in the post. And as you guys know, I'm a raging dyslexic. The book is about that thick, alright? It took me months to get through the book, and I read it every day, alright? And then, after I read the book, I scratched my head and I went, oh my god, I felt like lying down. Because the book highlighted everything that's wrong in the world and the reason why everyone gets stuck on the rat race. But it didn't really give me concrete solutions of what to do about it. So Tony almost just made my anxiety worse. It highlighted the reason why pensions don't really work out. They're not the be all or end all, or the returns that they get are abysmal compared to the actual money that you put into them. And how the whole system works, and how it's fees and these tiny little micro percentages that are on all these products that you think, oh yeah, sure, it's only 0.1%, but they destroy hundreds of thousands and millions worth of a portfolio over decades, of a managed portfolio or of a mutual fund, or these type of products that people just are sort of lured into thinking they're the be all and end all, and that's how they're going to be able to have a great retirement, is because some salesman, some rep, some financial advisor, it has an amazing product for them. But when you actually understand the game and how it works and run the figures for yourself, you realize that it's quite a large racket, and the only person retiring early is your financial advisor. It's not you. Okay? But at Crypto with Dinny, we try and do the opposite. We teach you how to self-manage all this stuff for yourself. In our Retire Early program, in our Retire Early club, we teach all the investing skills that you need to build a digital asset portfolio. And by the way, you can use all these skills in any investment that you want to do. So you can use them in property, you can use them in the stock market, you can use them in precious metals, you can use them in collectibles, because sound fundamentals work. And in Money Master the Game, it's a long time ago since I've read it, and I actually got an audiobook as well after that. And then I tried to get my wife to listen to it with me, because I was like, Denise, I can't figure this out, it's too complicated, it's too big a book, I need you to come in on this with me and help me. And so we were listening to it on audiobook, but my wife's not really too into the finance sort of stuff, she sort of leaves it to me. But it was hard going, I'll just say to you, it was hard going, and what it done was it highlighted the problems with the whole financial world, but it didn't give me any concrete or clear-cut solutions. And that's one thing that I don't like, or not that I don't like, but what I try and not do is, I done a good live last night. There was a lot of great feedback. We had a couple of hundred people on it across all our platforms, and the comments are still coming in today that people said that was that was worth my time. And by the way, I'll just give you a turbo tip here. I'll drop a dinny bomb in. If you're listening to my videos and you're not listening to them on live, okay, speed them up. Get me talking faster, because you can absorb it when I talk faster, okay? You know, when I'm talking in real life, I'm talking a bit slower, all right? So whenever I'm going through educational content, I speed it up. So if you're on YouTube, click the screen, click the gear icon, and speed me up. Speed me up to 1.5 or 1.75. Speed me up to 2. I'm like talking really fast. But if you listen to it on 2 for like 10 seconds and then bring it back to 0.75 seems okay and you can keep up. All right, so there's a dinny bomb about how to save time. Speed me up. But on the video last night, I mentioned that, you know, a lot of people will, I basically broke down, you know, how the decade's going to go and the battle between centralized digital money and decentralized digital money, and that's how this decade's going to play out. You know, in my thesis, and over the years I've always been well ahead of spotting trends and seeing where the world is going, and that's what I see now. There's a battle between, Nicky, what's the crack? Between decentralized digital money and centralized digital money, and it's going to play out, and you don't have to pick either side, but some people don't understand that they have an ability to hedge their position and have a position on both sides so that they win regardless of the outcomes. But one thing that I did mention was the problem with a lot of people just come up with problems and they don't give people solutions, and that just adds to people's anxiety. And this is another little tangent, dinny bomb, but if you're just consuming conspiracy theory content and it's making you anxious and it's affecting your present, well, here's a tip: stop looking at it. What good's it doing for you? All right, because there's two things, right? If you can change something, all right, if you can change something, well, then you don't have to worry about it. And if you can't change something, well, then you don't have to worry about it, okay? So if you're consuming stuff that's just having a negative effect on your life, it's easy. Stop consuming it. Consume more positive stuff. Rebalance. Every morning, open up YouTube and put in positive motivation instead of fucking the world is going to end content or whatever you're listening to, okay? Gotta go slow here, actually. This is where the Slither hit the car there the other day. So that's just a dinny bomb, okay? So what I like to do is when I'm showing people how the world is, you know, sometimes the truth hurts, and it does look like this decade is going to be difficult. I shared a thing today. There's an electricity bill going viral. And I put a tweet up today, and it was the reason why I sold out of my physical business, is because the margins are just getting too hard and too tight now to run a physical business, okay? But, and you can go and look at that tweet and I explain how I hedge myself, so it doesn't matter whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. Either way, it's fine, like, because I have the skills to turn around regardless of the situation. But you have to be real with people as well. There's no point in saying, everything's going to be grand. No. I don't believe it is. I believe we're going into a harder decade. Money is going to become tighter. Business is going to become much more difficult. Only the strong will survive, and therefore you need to up-level your skills and prepare, okay? Lighten the load. Upskill so that you can survive what looks like it's going to be an economically difficult period for a lot of people as the decade goes forward. But at the same time, you don't want to just give people a doomsday scenario without giving them the solution. Okay, because then you're just like, you're not helping. The whole point of being in business or contributing is to try and give people, if there's a problem, alert them of the problem, teach them of the problem, but then show them the solution rather than just adding to their anxiety and saying, oh, you know, Tommy Tiernan, he had a good skit, like, and it was all about the not the Y2K, but the Twin Towers. And it was like, you know, he was looking at the telly and it was like, the world is fucked, because the news are just screaming like when the planes hit the towers. And yes, it was a horrible thing to happen, and it was a disaster, but then he was like looking outside and the birds were tweeting and everything was okay, and then he'd look back at the telly and the world is fucked. You know, so you have to be a guardian of what you let into your mind. Okay, so as you guys well know, I believe the solution is Bitcoin, and it's how you can hedge and protect yourself and other digital crypto assets as well as investment vehicles can hedge and protect yourself. But where money master the game, because that's the point of this video, and as Catherine just saying, mindset is everything. I agree. And shameless plug, guys, while I'm on boys and girls, while I'm on mindset, all members of the Retire Early Club have been invited to belong to an in-person event that we're doing on the 1st of October, and 50% of that in-person workshop, it's on a Saturday, is mindset, for the very reason that the only difference between Dinny that lived in a caravan and had no money and didn't know what to do, and Dinny that and had to think about like where he get the cheapest bag of pasta because every cent counted because I had no money, to the Dinny that doesn't have to worry about money anymore and doesn't have to get the cheapest pasta, just buys food. Alright, the only difference between that Dinny is what is going on in my mind, how my mindset changed. That's the only difference. That's why we're doing that one day workshop, and it's 50% on mindset. So if you are interested in learning how to retire early, get into the Retire Early Club, and as a bonus, if you're anywhere near Dublin, some people are flying in for that event and booking hotels, etc., because that's just an additional bonus that you'll get as part of the Retire Early Club, as well as learning everything online. We have an in-person event, and after the workshop we're going for a bit of pub grub and have a bit of an informal chat about Bitcoin and crypto, and obviously we'll have a few beers for anyone who's hanging around, and maybe staying over in one of the hotels in the local area. So that's on the 1st of October. It's a month away, but get into the Retire Early Club if you'd like to get the invitation to that. It's only for people who are in the Retire Early Club. But mindset is so important. So where money master the game falls short is, okay, it doesn't offer you solutions, but what it does alert you to is compounding. Okay, and it talks about Money Master the Game. Is a great book, I recommend it. Tony Robbins interviews, I think he interviews 10 hedge fund managers, billionaires, okay, 10 billionaires. So you get to see how billionaires made their money, and they answer the questions, and they're talking to someone like Tony, so they're not going to feck him around. Okay, Tony Robbins. And it's a really good book. But how they all made their money was through this magical principle called compounding. And compounding, Einstein called the 8th wonder of the world, simply because it is the 8th wonder of the world. Okay, but there's an opposite to compounding. Alright, you can have positive compounding, which will make anyone a multi-millionaire, even if you're on the lowest paid job, minimum wage. If you're prepared to compound and invest and defer your gratification, you will become a multi-millionaire. It's just maths, okay? And everyone can have opinions and stuff. Opinions are fine, alright, but math is math. It's truth, it can't be argued with. Okay, so minimum paid job, you can become a multi-millionaire if you're prepared to compound over time. Okay, but the opposite to compounding, okay, there's positive compounding and then there's negative compounding. Negative compounding is what destroys wealth, and it's the reason why people who don't self-manage their investments don't really get great returns, and that's because of fees. Okay, so the tiny fees that are in your pensions and in all the financial products that you're sold, you know, it looks like, oh, that's only 0.3%, that's only 1%, that's nothing. This costs you 6 and 7 figures over time, and it costs you the growth of your portfolio. And that's why in Crypto with Dini, what we teach is, if you self-manage, fair enough, it's easier to fob it off and let some other lad do it. It is easier. But if you but you're retiring him, not you. If you self-manage, okay, now you get the true growth of compounding, the miracle that is compounding. Okay, you get the true force, the true power of compounding when you self-manage. And that's why in Crypto with Dini we teach people, give away some of your money, put it into your pension, you know, your private pension, all that stuff. Yeah, have all that. As I said in my consulting, I had a fella on today and he said, geez Dini, I thought you were just going to tell me to go and take all my money and remortgage my house and just buy Bitcoin. I was like, no, not at all. That's not what I do. And I use sound investment principles over a decade to go from financial ruin, piss poor, to financial freedom. It took a decade, 10 years. Okay, but this guy's in his 30s. I was like, what's a decade to you? It's nothing. You're in your 40s then. You still got many more decades to have fun. Okay? And that was without using Bitcoin or digital assets, because I didn't understand them then, I didn't use them then, I didn't have them then. It took me years later to learn about them. I went the good old-fashioned way of building businesses, hard work, hard and slow work. So perhaps now, I believe it's an easier solution with the digital assets than all the hard work of trying to build businesses. Investing is a lot easier than building businesses, believe you me, because building businesses, you have to do everything. building investment portfolio, all you have to do is pick the investments, and someone else does everything. The company does everything, the product does everything, the commodity does all the work. Okay, so this is why in Crypto with Dini we teach, give away some of your money if you want, if you wish. I know that's what everyone's taught to do, but self-manage a portion of it, and you'll be really surprised that the portion you self-manage, the performance that you can actually get with it, with the true effect of compounding. Compound's the 8 wonder of the world. It's been something that's been so powerful, and I've been infatuated with all my life. As I was saying to my client today in the consulting, I was like, I've been obsessed with these calculators since my early 20s. It's just a compound interest calculator, and you're just plugging in numbers of, if I can allocate this and I can get this percentage on it, well, in 5 years this is my return, in 10 years this is my return, in 20 years this is my return, in 40 years this is my return. And really all you got to do is Google compound interest calculator, play with the numbers, plug in some figures, go and look at historical data of how the cryptocurrency markets are performing on average, and you will knock your socks off with the actual figures you can future forecast. Obviously the past doesn't guarantee the future, but look around. Bitcoin is 100 times less risky of an investment today than it was in 2018, 2019. Okay, every year this thing survives, the risk is reduced, and with all the fundamental developments that are happening and building that's happening, it's just becoming less risky and less risky and less risky. So that's why it's a really exciting thing. Money Master the Game, I really recommend the book. Get an audio book. It's a fantastic book, and learn about the true effects of compounding, and then leverage it and use it in your life. Because lads, what if you're still alive in 5 years and you compound? Well, life will be very kind. What if you're still alive in 10 years and you use compounding for a decade? I encourage everyone watching this to jump on, find a compound interest calculator, plug in a 10-year investment at 20% returns or 50% returns. Like Bitcoin's averaging 160% a year. Again, people can argue over that. Oh, Bitcoin's going to go away, blah, 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 blah. But that's just the facts. For 13 years, our average compound return is 160%. Put that into the calculator, you won't believe the figures, okay? But I work back, I'm like, no, we're not going to be that bullish. We're going to work back from that. We're going to do a more risk-managed forecast here. If you need help with any of this stuff, by the way, today's the last day to book in for the consultation with the bonuses. The bonuses are the free bootcamp. You get the bootcamp worth 250 quid for free, and you get $25 worth of Bitcoin for free. And I believe if you hold the $25 worth of Bitcoin long enough, it's going to mean that the consulting session was free. So I'm going to incentivize you to defer your gratification and hold the Bitcoin rather than spending the $25 worth of Bitcoin today. But I have 2 products in consulting. One is done for you, where I do everything for you. I even provide you with the wallets, both a steel wallet and a hardware wallet, and there's a couple $100 quid's worth of value if you're to go and buy them yourself. The done for you product is $9.99. If you want me to do everything for you, it takes a couple of meetings. Or we have the done with you product, which is what I was doing this morning. I had 2 done with you sessions with clients where I just helped them build their plan to retire early, and I've done it with them. And then I give them all the instruction, and I send them all the links and the resources that they need so that they're able to go and self-manage and do all this stuff for themselves. Guys, hope you have a super day. I hope you use this time to educate yourself on how to invest and learn about compounding, and understand that it is the 8th wonder of the world, and nobody appreciates what they can get done in a decade, but we sort of overestimate what we can get done in a year, and then when that falls short, we go and look for the next shiny object. But investing works. It's worked for me. I know it will work for you, and that's why I'm passionate about teaching people how to do it. Have a super day. Thanks for being here. Hit the like if you haven't. If you like the stream, hit the share. That'd be awesome. Dini out.